This is Ticker, your news source for news.
Hi, I'm Aaron Young. Understanding the wide world of LinkedIn can be overwhelming for so many businesses and people when it comes to creating opportunity. There's also a lot of risk to be aware of. Sue Parker does marketing communications for small and medium-sized businesses and is from Dare Group Australia and joins us here in the studio. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. Love to be here.
So this is a really difficult one for a lot of people, isn't it? And for a lot of businesses to try and get LinkedIn right. Why is it so hard?
It's a great question because there's a lot of misconceptions about the platform. There's a lot of incorrect advice. There's a lot of opinions, and the platform has just blown out of proportion. In 2010, it was only 1 million members. Now there's 10 million members in Australia.
Talk to us about the risks of what happens if you get the content mix wrong.
Your personal brand suffers.
Right. And how many people do you watch who that's exactly what happens?
Oh, gee.
Must be frustrating.
I would probably put 70%.
70%?
I would say 70%.
And what are they doing wrong?
It's the brand positioning, how they're positioning themselves, how they're communicating, how the content they're sharing, often not with a strategy, not with a clear direction, and not understanding how marketing and media works in general and how it impacts their brand on LinkedIn.
So I see a lot of my friends whose names will remain unnamed who they post what they got up to on the weekend.
Yes.
Now in some instances that's actually okay if it links to your brand. So over the weekend I climbed a mountain. I'm obviously starting a business. On Monday, posted it to say, climbing this mountain reminds me of starting a business. Is that okay or not okay?
Oh, I think that's beautiful. I think that is a very, very clever and humanized segue into making a point. And I think if, again, it's all what you do on LinkedIn has to be in sync with your values, your personal brand, and your voice, whatever that is. I think an analogy of the human tied into the business is something that is extremely valuable, and it really does get great cut through. I do that myself and encourage those, but it has to be mindful. But yeah, I think absolutely if you can tie in something that you've done in your world into a broader context, that's content gold.
And I would imagine understanding why you are on LinkedIn is pretty important too for everything, right? So I came from a job where I just said, yeah. I never really thought too much about LinkedIn, to be completely honest. Now I'm in an industry where we are getting a lot of communication via LinkedIn, a lot of great tips, meeting a lot of people such as yourself through LinkedIn as well. But I'm stuck with all of those people that I said yes to when it didn't really matter to me.
Yeah.
When it comes to Facebook, we're so selective about the people we let in and don't. But we don't seem to have the same rules for LinkedIn. Most people just say yes and accept.
Absolutely.
And what's the risk of that?
Oh, major risk. LinkedIn, there are many technical machinations behind the platform. Quality versus quantity has to be the first touch point and focus. There's something for everybody on LinkedIn, a bit like the Melbourne show today. There is something for everybody, but getting understanding of what your goals are, who your market is, what you want to do. It's not Facebook. You're not there to bake a cake or
so
to
should
find
you post every day or post once a week or post once a month?
Look, there's not a one size fits all.
Right.
There really isn't. It has to be a mindful, strategic focus aligned to your goals. But back to your really important comment about accepting every Tom, Dick and Mary under the sun. Absolutely not. Because there's a lot of fake profiles, as there is on all social media, and you really do need to have some strategic analysis on who you connect with.
So that's become a problem for LinkedIn as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I've been hit on in private messages by people who I've just kind of accepted, and next you get, wow, your photo's beautiful, when can we meet up? And it's kind of become Tinder.
I've never got much of that, and I'm prettier than you, but I don't know why. Look, you see that, and I think, Aaron, that is a scenario of every social media.
So it's just going to happen. It's human
It's just
nature,
going to
right?
happen. Get over it. I say it's part of life. But there's more good than negative on LinkedIn without us.
Tell us what the good is. What is the point of LinkedIn? So I'm guessing you're going to say it depends on what you need it for. So if you're a business, it can communicate what the business is up to, or if you have any jobs going. If you're someone looking for a job, it's probably handy to see if there are any jobs going. But there also seems to be other bits as well, like just communicating with other people who might be in your industry about challenges or trends in the industry.
Absolutely. And I go back to the fact that it's show day. There is something for everybody. It started, I mean, Reid Hoffman, when he launched the platform in 2003, was about connecting a human to a human in a professional sense. And it started off with a very much a hiring and recruitment focus. It's totally transformed. It's certainly a platform where you grow your visibility, you grow your voice, you share your message.
Would you call it a professional version of Facebook, or is that too simple?
Look, it can be, if you want to put that context. I mean, Facebook is still human to human. It's still business to business in some respects.
And generally people you know.
Yeah, but again, the purpose, it's interesting because LinkedIn originally said when they first launched, connect with people you know. Well, that just doesn't occur.
No. I think I know about 1% of people that I connect with on LinkedIn. But so there are some wonderful people on there that I should be connecting with, and it at least provides me that opportunity to, but you have to really figure out what's this person doing.
There's a lot of bad concepts about what you should and shouldn't do on LinkedIn, and I come back to quality over quantity. There's a perception that says, well, you will have social proof and be deemed a person of influence and gravitas if you have, say, 20,000 followers or connections.
Yeah.
And that perception is not real.
No.
Because which I have dug deeply into this, a lot of times, not all, but many times, those contacts have got no value. They will never have value. And if the people you're connected with are not actually aligned to your purpose, your vision, in some way connected to where you're wanting to go,
then it's just something, it's like junk mail.
Well, what happens is the content you post does not get through to the right channel because of the way the algorithm works. So when you put content up, a percentage of your connections will get that viewed in their feed.
Wow.
If those connections have not 1 ounce of interest in what you post, and they will ignore it. So the algorithms and part of machine learning will reconnect that. And so it's very, very, very important to be on brand. And so the rhetoric that big is always better is not true. But it can be. It can be, but it is not always.
Sue, love the chat. Will you come back and do it next week?
I'd love to.
Appreciate your time today talking about all of those interesting things with LinkedIn, because there is so much to understand. We, of course, like to broadcast on LinkedIn here at Ticker TV. If you'd like to see more, head to tickertv.com.au, or, of course, you can find us on LinkedIn. I'm Aaron Young. Thanks for watching.
That was a